Hi, I'm Philip Yancey, and honest, I'm not trying out on the George Bush look, but we're here in beautiful, sunny Colorado, which is where I live, and it's a pretty chilly day. So I had to dress for the occasion. I want to talk to you about my new book, which is called Prayer, Does It Make Any Difference? I've got to tell you, when I first started writing a book on prayer, I thought, who am I? I've always struggled with my prayer life. What do I know about this topic? So the first thing I did was go to the library and read a whole bunch of books by people who did know about it. People like George Mueller from your country, Martin Luther. They would tell me about getting up, praying for 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours a day, having these peak experiences. And I started feeling guilty and inferior. And then I went and started interviewing ordinary Christians. I would ask them, tell me about your prayer life. And they would say, well, I pray maybe 5 minutes a day. Oh, was it satisfying? Is it fulfilling? Well, not usually. Do you sense the presence of God? Do your prayers get answered? No, I struggle with those things. And that's when I started thinking maybe I do have something to say about this topic. You see, I have always perceived my calling is to represent the ordinary person in the pew, the ordinary Christian. I'm not an ordained pastor, I'm not a scholar, I'm not an authority figure. I'm a journalist, and so when I approach a topic like prayer, I start with the very questions that my readers have. Questions like, does prayer really change God? What difference does it make? If God already knows everything in advance, what good are our prayers? Why do some prayers that seem to be very important and consequential get ignored, and other prayers that seem rather trivial seem to get answered? Those are the questions I start with. And one of the things I've done in this book is drop in actual experiences from people who have tried praying and have had mixed success. Some people have a good experience, some people have a bad experience. I've dropped those stories right into the book. Along the way, I've learned an awful lot about this topic, and I hope these insights help my readers too. Let me share with you one insight I've learned about prayer. And it kind of relates to where we're standing right here. There's a mountain behind me. And what I've learned about prayer, I learned from those mountains. I climbed the mountains in the summer. And when you're up high like that, as you look down, you get a different perspective on the world. I realized that in my prayers, I always started with who I was and what I cared about. And I tried to get God to care about my concerns and fix my problems and straighten out my life. And I needed to change the directions of my prayer. On top of that mountain, which is called Mount Evans, there starts a little stream. It starts under the ice, you can hear it gurgling, and then gradually it joins other trickles of water, and eventually it becomes a river that flows through this valley, and it is not far from my home. To me, that's how I start with prayer now. I start with where God is. And as I meditate about God, as I learn about Him through the Bible, I realize that He is a God of compassion and love and justice and mercy and peace. I don't have to talk God into those things. He already cares about my cousin who has diabetes and a niece who's an alcoholic and my neighbor who has cancer. He already cares. Rather, I need to get into the stream of what God is already doing in this world. The stream is flowing. The stream of God's action is flowing, and I need to get into that stream. That's just one of the things I've learned about prayer.